Welcome back to Rift Rivals. It's game 3 of the day. 100 Thieves hope to take down Fnatic in our very next match. And since this is our first time seeing 100 Thieves today, let's run through their starting roster. In the top lane is Brandini, their jungler Levi, mid laner Ryu, Cody, Shen, and bot lane alongside support aphromoo. Now, yesterday we saw 100 Thieves take their new starters, and rather than make them fit into what their old roster used to play with, they tried their hand funneling into Levi. It just did not work quite that well.
Yeah, it's a pretty big departure from putting all their gold into Cody's Son, which is really how they had success in spring. It was all about getting to late game, allowing Cody's Son to carry in the team fights, and he was playing Alistar.
He was playing Alistar, and he didn't do a very good job on the Alistar, but Levi on the Graves, he got all the gold. He did very well. Sadly, it also meant they had to sacrifice a certain player, and that was Brandini up in the top lane, who was left alone the entire game long.
Yeah, it's a story of NA top laners getting demolished by Wonder, basically. That's been happening a fair bit. His Aatrox was nuts, so we'll see if they can bounce back from that, of course. Let's talk about, though, Fnatic a little bit now on this one. Of course, they're hoping to bounce back from a loss in game 1 of the day. It's a game that had a lot of skirmishes early on, but almost none of them went Fnatic's way.
Yeah, and I mean, in game 1, they did draft their kind of standard bot lane style, no marksman. They had their opportunities, but it got to the stage where they're all magic damage. TL is itemizing extremely efficiently against them, and the fight started going worse and worse progressively.
Yeah, Doublelift got a bunch of early kills on Kai'Sa. That's normally not something that happens against Fnatic when they are running these different bot lanes with Bwipo or sOAZ down there. So the fact they fell behind early due to simply getting outclassed in the early fights really hurt them later on.
And I'm going to be really interested to see how Brandini does in this second game. He got a lot of flack in his first game, but I thought it was fairly unjustified. His team was running funnel. He was playing against Nocturne plus Aatrox with a Zoe roaming up top lane and no help. And I don't think that's a fair test for him, so I want to see how he does here.
I also really like that the Fnatic coaching staff was saying it is not fair for Broxah to play Taliyah, because they were so bad in the last game. They just ban it away in this one. They don't,
it's a self-ban.
They don't want to see that garbage again, so it's gone for this game. Thank God for that if you are a Fnatic fan. Let's see what happens in the rest of Pick and Ban.
You're not feeling maybe a Taliyah funnel here for Broxah?
Definitely not.
Get caps on a Braum.
No. It hurts me. It hurts me. See the ban of Braum now as well. Great.
Okay, well, either way, the draft's continuing. Aatrox so far left up on the table. Haven't seen either of the teams play it just yet from what I'm looking at, but of course, many more games to be played, of course, over time.
Fnatic got 2 people who could play it. Maybe even Caps could grab it.
Maybe even Broxah. Who knows?
Ban
Then there's
away.
the Aatrox ban. So part of the reason they're not going to play it, no one lets them.
And I honestly feel like at this point, with how good Aatrox has been looking in lane, the fact that Renekton got slammed by it, yes, you can say player difference as well. But if people are not confident in how to deal with it, I think we're not going to be seeing much Aatrox. It may just become a pure red side ban unless the team on the blue side has a very specific game plan to try to shut it down.
But yesterday, we actually saw a lot of teams ban it on blue side.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know Aatrox ban as opposed
if you don't know how to play it.
Right, and then G2 is the only team where it just gets left open and they can first pick it. But Zoe, not a huge surprise with a lot of the normal first picks like Aatrox and Nocturne here being taken away, and Taliyah as well. And Zoe is the best, or one of the best picks for Caps.
Definitely such a strong blind pick as well, but there is the possibility of looking for something. We saw actually Caps running the Kassadin into that as an answer. That is an option. Things like Aurelia, there are some of the aggressive picks, even a Talon that is potentially available here if they want to go for it. And it will be interesting to see, is Levi going to be the recipient of a funnel once more?
Yeah, his Graves is available if you want to do it again. You can just put the Alistar next to him. You don't need the Braum.
Can also just be a standard Graves pick if we see it. Levi, definitely a very confident Camille player here too. Again, this does not have to be a funnel. It can just be a standard aggressive jungle pick for Levi, who can get a lot of work done on these types of champions.
All right, someone to watch for, even though the Camille nerfs came through and hurt the E, seems pretty viable still, and we'll see where all these champions go. It's Fnatic's turn to pick up a couple of champions. We know that Zoe is 99% of the time going to be playing just directly in the mid lane, unlikely funnels. Let's see what they want to go alongside that with 3 seconds to go for the next pick.
Yeah, normally like Mundo is one of the picks they're aiming for early, but Swain is also left open in this draft. It's been a great pick for Bwipo down in the bottom lane. You can still flex it to other lanes as well, but I like Sejuani here for Broxah. Like in the past, he's done very well on these different tank junglers. So if they grab a Swain, have a Sejuani. I think it's a very strong base from the first part of the draft phase.
Yeah, we also saw them play before the Swain plus Pike combo, looking very, very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of comboing off each other. You can hook into the Swain passive or never move into the Pike hook. And then the Swain passive, there's a lot of displacement there. Quite a powerful bot lane and something that Hylissang is extremely comfortable on.
All right, Fnatic on very comfortable champions. 100 Thieves, one last pick until the second ban phase, and maybe looking at a mid laner to handle Zoe. Or Ryu in this mid lane, Malzahar pretty strong. Also, Galio could do it too. Of course, Galio, Camille, a great dive pair.
Yeah.
And this could be some backline access.
And this is a very big pick. You know, we look at LPL, we look at LCK, but in the West here, we haven't seen that much Galio mid lane coming in here on this patch, specifically on 8-12 as well. But that combination, like you have an Alistar getting to the backline, you have a Camille ult to keep them in place, and then a Galio flying in. Like, it's a lot of wombo combo.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of engage, and now it's going to be about what is there to follow up on that engage. You know, what are the picks going to be here for Cody, Sun, for Brandini? I do think that they're going to need still a lot of consistent damage, and this is looking much more like 100 Thieves, more traditional style of game plan. You could very easily see Cody, Sun here on a marksman, you know, and being there for the follow-up and the consistent DPS.
I mean, just kind of blindly think about it, like Twitch would be a great pick right here. I think he's very strong ever since the most recent round of buffs. I think his itemization solid as well.
Blasphemy.
An amazing team fighter overall.
Kaisa is still available.
Right, Kaisa's pretty solid, even and even got some physical damage with the Camille in there from the probably jungle position of Levi, but waiting to see. With the Darius ban, I'm wondering if they're setting up a potential Camille flex a little bit to see if they can find a good matchup up there.
But
Or they're going to play just,
take
you know,
Mundo.
Mundo.
Yeah, you can grab the Mundo because you ban away
those
the
two bans
counters.
are the Mundo counters.
It's literally screaming, Brandini will take Mundo. Now, Fnatic can ban it if they want to, but otherwise you can also just trade the Mundo for another tank top lane for sOAZ, like he loves to play Ornn. It's a fantastic pick for them when they run these bruiser comps because you need engage.
Yeah, Mundo definitely can run over an Ornn if you do get ahead, but definitely a fairly stable matchup, especially in the early stages.
Yeah.
And you can look for some other types of counters if you want to actually go for that sort of a pick.
They read it. They saw the bans. They're like, I wonder what you're going to pick here.
We did see that one coming, but it still leaves some options open. I wonder if one of these will leave top lane till last to let that Camille still be flexible, as unlikely the top laner she is.
I mean, I certainly think it could make sense to give Brandini that last pick to give him some comfort, unless they're trying to have, you know, more of a marksman pick that they really feel they need to hide, that they want to kind of craft their composition around. The Ornn does get even that much better. Both of these bans that they had were good against the Ornn as well. The Mundo is good against the Ornn, the Rumble is good against the Ornn, so they're going to be the ones who having even more reliable engage, but still very low damage. So
give me Singed here,
even
baby.
more towards a crit marksman, perhaps.
I want Bwipo Singed, and then sOAZ can play the Swain in the bottom lane.
Well, they're going to lock in their bottom lane first. Tahm, Kench, the next tank in the lineup to go alongside this Swain, and where is that Singed?
Singed is really good in the tanks, so I think it would be a very smart matchup. We'll see if they have the comfort to actually play this. I mean, this is a tremendous amount of CC on the team of 100 Thieves. Definitely a strong brawling team fight comp here from Fnatic, which is really kind of their preferred play style. The Shen, another option, definitely not as good of a lane matchup, I think, into the Ornn, but certainly does allow them to have a lot more flexibility making plays on bot.
And had they gone for like Singed, there is still the chance you put the Ornn bot lane with the Alistar, and then you can actually try and counterpick the Singed specifically for Brandini. So there might have been some things there, but generally it's massive amount of tanks. Not that much sustained DPS on the side of Fnatic. A lot of like poke and quick burst.
I would be surprised.
I mean, if you land all the hard CC, though, they're locked up and just in place. It's a misfortune will be locked in for Cody Sun.
I'm not sure that I really think this pick makes sense. I mean, yes, there is a tremendous amount of CC, and if you can lock them down for the Misfortune ultimate, that is very powerful, but it's a relatively low mobility marksman into a lot of pick here on the side of Fnatic. You have the flash taunt, the Zoe bubble trouble, the knock-up and everything from the Sejuani as well, and if the Swain passive is procced whatsoever and you can pull the MF into the middle of the fight, that MF is going to die very quickly, so I think it's so much 400 Thieves about them being the ones who are proactive. They must engage the fights and start it off on their terms.
And most likely also just looking at the big 5-man comps that typically enter a fight together. Like, you can get a lot of damage from an MF ult, but you normally see that be very successful against squishy targets. The big tanks kind of survive the first few hits and then get to the MF and stop her.
But you have to remember, MF doesn't have to build armor pen. You can just go a more standard style crit build. Essence Reaver actually can be fairly effective on the champion as well. So we'll have to see if they are going to go for that style of a build. I know it seems somewhat counterintuitive, but the Essence Reaver pre-buff, so to call it, actually lasts long enough that you can full channel your MF ult, then get your auto, then have the Essence Reaver proc come out, and I have seen it be pretty effective.
I've also, was worth throwing out math-wise, that new Infinity is actually better for Misfortune than it was before. Crit damage is a very bad stat for Ultimate, but true damage conversion is a very good one, because the crit scaling, you know, as far as damage conversion is not very high, but making it true damage is pretty great. So we'll see what the MF build's going to be. Cody Sun, I think, can be safe in the back lane here. We'll see what it looks like. Levi, though, on a high damage fight. That's what we expected here in the lineup for 100 Thieves. We are getting ourselves onto the Rift.
And I think we need to see 100 Thieves being extremely proactive. When you have Ornn, when you have Camille, when you have Galio, these are champions that when you hit level 6, you want to be out on the map, you want to be making plays, and constantly looking to be aggressive.
Here we go. A tied scoreline on the group stage, 3-3 across these regions. Fnatic, the reigning EU LCS champions. 100 Thieves were the finalists, although by power ranks concerns, 100 Thieves are the third best team in NA, and Fnatic the second best here in Europe. And today's standards and their lineups and everything else. But
exactly. That's not even counting Misfits, who's not here.
Of course. Of the teams here.
Exactly. Just wanted to make sure they weren't mad at us tweeting from the Misfits account.
No, Misfits, thankfully for NA, are not at this tournament, and that's a good feeling for NA fans.
They're behind him. They're going to try and catch him.
Ooh, Levi, this could be dangerous. Would be learning E, a nice taunt. Here's the follow-up. Good damage, but jumps right back out.
Very calm play there from Levi, making sure to not panic and actually hook shot early. You know, missing that hook shot would have been death or flash. Either way, he is going to get out. You know, it does kind of suck to start with the hook shot at level 1, but it's not actually that big of a deal. You still can clear reasonably well with the hook shot start. And sometimes players you do actually see, you know, going over to the Raptors and doing these sorts of things when you have to start that differently.
Yeah, it still gives you the attack speed. Definitely a pretty okay. It's not like you're starting Fear on Fiddlesticks and juggling with it. That's full troll. So here we go. Red buff leash in for Broxah on the bottom side. It is on top of a ward. So 100 Thieves are aware of this one as Hylissang makes his way into the lane as he was part of the invade earlier. There should be no issues at all. Broxah going to choose to save his smite. Levi in a pretty decent and similar spot going for the blue.
I can't wait to see this bottom lane now. MF, obviously in the past, always been a lane bully against squishy targets when she can land the Q onto them and it deals so much damage in the laning phase. Against these, you know, more tanky targets, not as effective, but it's not like Bwipo is stacking a ton of armor at level 1. He is still a mage, so the damage should be pretty interesting to see.
And he is going for Conqueror. This is, you know, kind of more of a new age MF style. This is not, you know, Comet and Poke or anything like that. It's, you know, really about getting the bonus AD for your proc, and you can have that bonus AD on your Q pass-through, on your ultimate, and that can be very powerful. In addition to the true damage that combines with that IE you were talking about.
It's all tank busting, right? It's all the tank busting runes because he's against a very tanky lineup. 3 tanks plus 2 mages, and one of which actually builds a bit more durability. sOAZ, nice trading on a Brandini right here with the CS lead early on.
And that tank boxing is just going to be so important because the rest of the comp, like when I see Ornn, Camille, Galio, I normally think, man, this is an insane comp against like an AD carry. You know, you get onto him, he just can't get away from a Camille. People get hit by every single CC and just die. But they're obviously playing against Fnatic, who's not running AD carries in this meta here. So it's all coming down to Cody Sun and how fast can he actually destroy a tank for this composition to work.
Yeah, I think he can do it pretty quickly. You know, my concern is less about his damage output and more about can he stay safe against all this dive that could come in here from Fnatic. Because I really think you proc the Swain passive, you pull him into the center of the team, and that's probably going to be lights out there for Cody Sun once they are stacked on top of him. So we're really going to have to see how well he can position and how well the rest of the 100 Thieves squad can keep him safe.
Brandini down to 200 health as well right now, and Sejuani is actually lurking through this lane. This could be a dive very early on, and Broxah is so durable, full HP. This could be first blood in 10 seconds from now.
Very easy to set up here, too, with the taunt flash.
TP already burned by Ryu. Now he can't join. They know this. 400 HP, though, he's kind of durable. And he's going to form his first item. And they say, you know what? It's actually a little bit too risky. Ruby Crystal in, not going to go for the dive.
Yeah, and they don't know where Camille is. That is the biggest thing. I think if you know that Levi is not up here, you 100% go for that dive and you can pull it off, you know, with sOAZ leading that off. But you don't know where Camille is, and if you go in, you flash taunt, and Camille shows up, that is probably a double kill for 100 Thieves. So kind of playing it a little bit more safe.
Oh, bottom lane. Overrise, really good damage, and it's going to be Tahm Kench chomping up a bit. Bwipo takes some pretty good hits right there. That's a nice burst.
Yeah, that's what we talked about before here. He's just a mage on the Swain, so still takes a lot of damage in the early game. Good combo. Should see more of these. Plus Ignite is there from aphromoo side. That's probably a high chance to actually pick up a 2v2 kill from the 100 Thieves.
Gonna be interested to see if Bwipo actually changes up the itemization a little bit here as a result, if he's trying to grab something like a Catalyst into an early Seekers and try to play it a bit more defensively.
Ninja Tappy probably coming in on his side.
Trade shots back and forth. Level 4, both these junglers. Broxah in the brush. Levi trying to spot him out for this one and hoping for a camp steal. Smites up on both sides, so this is going to be an interesting battle to go for as it's going to go over to Levi, no problem. Broxah has to give up the Raptors.
Yeah, and that's thanks to mid lane priority. Ryu had the push. Caps is going back to base, so no sense in Broxah actually risking fighting for that. But Levi now can go and meet him up at the scuttle here as well. And yeah, Broxah has the jump, but do you want to take that when your mid laner's in base?
That's a no.
Sweep off. But it's going to be Scuttle Crab, and this is not too bad right there. Levi up a single camp. Ryu again waiting around. A bit low on mana, and is TP-less.
And no smite on Levi. They know that they actually used that in the previous camp, so Fnatic is coming down here.
There's still only 2 members here from Fnatic.
And again, Broxah can just smite this. Dealing damage is not going to be too great. It's actually almost in smite range, but they get the taunt. They get a lot of damage. Keep knocking him into the air, and Broxah trying to get away. The flash to follow. Brandini somehow claims first blood. The fight for Scott was a bait.
I mean, Broxah stays around so long. Caps is not coming. sOAZ is back in lane, and sure, you have smite, but who cares?
And still really good damage to the bot side as well. Bwipo down to 200 HP. Going to get a little bit back with landing his skill shots, but pushed out in this bottom lane.
I mean, Fnatic lost the early fights against Team Liquid. It completely backfired with the early strategy they had. Now in this game, they're losing the bottom lane at the moment. They're definitely losing every single trade whenever aphromoo engages onto Bwipo. And then Broxah, yeah, just so greedy trying to stay around.
And insult to injury, he didn't even get the scuttle. Levi got the scuttle too, and he gives up his life again here. So this is just really, okay, sOAZ is coming down. Caps is in mid lane. The mid laner is here. You can see Brandini zoning him out. Why are you still here?
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's close, and Ryu! Oh, he survives! After shocking, he goes and lives through that one. Now a bot lane fight. Afro picks up one, walks away from the turret, but the chase down is there for Cody's son. He is summonerless. The damage will come through. Quickly picked up. Hylissang grabs it, and it's time for aphromooo's escape with no one around him.
The solo kill for Ryu there. Caps just barely not having the damage, and the level up comes in. And then there's 2v3 for 100 Thieves on the bottom side, and here it is one more time. Caps thinking he has the damage, and was so close.
Oh, he lands the sleep there, the redemption coming in, and nice play from Ryu, and just the very last second.
The pre-taunt there, the damage reduction definitely saving Ryu.
Oh, that saved his life.
On the bot side, aphromoo flashing forward, knows Cody's son is dead, gets the trade kill, gets out, so pretty well played here across the map.
And that also means now aphromoo can actually walk away in the bottom lane. It's not a Zoe moving down to kill him and make it suddenly a trade in favor of Fnatic. 1 kill though, going over towards Hylissang. Not exactly the member you want to see get the kill.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Cody's son is going lethality regardless.
Yeah.
As this is a team that could be stacking a lot of armor. Especially when you are more physical damage heavy. Yes, there is Ryu who's going to be building AP, but mostly you're worried about Levi, mostly you're worried about Cody's son here. So I do feel that lethality can be a little bit of a trap. We'll see, though, if he can find early game effectiveness with that.
A little bit drowsy here. Levi wanting to see if he wants to go in. Level 6 available. Could go for the ult. Not yet on the Caps, so the damage up is pretty high. Gets a knock-up. More trades coming through. And Ryu gets away. Caps almost pushing out Levi, but making him recall at the very least.
You really want that bubble to hit the Camille and not the Galio, but instead it is Caps pushing in, and Ryu 1 level above at the moment. Oh, that's on the turret.
Does get some damage on that one, but still watch out for this. Good hits coming through. Pops in the taunt, but he's not going to pull aggro. Still walks forward, and Caps. Oh, be careful. The rest of the tanks are there. Hylissang pops in the thick skin, and that is a nice kill picked up. Well played on that dive by Fnatic.
Man, Caps, such an aggressive player, just dancing around, knowing the stopwatch is there. Bot lane, though.
Level 6 available on Swain. Pops it, and pulled it back in. This could be really good damage. Cody's son is aggro. He's gone. He's gone to get Cody's son as well. Has to pop his own ultimate, but this could be a chase down. Bwipo could make this an easy 1v2. Waits for the cooldowns. Tahm Kench coming around as well. Yeah, this is him turning into ground beef. A headbutt away, but this is still going to be a quick lick to slow down the autos to come in, and Afro is going to fall. Bwipo with a double kill.
Yeah, very sloppy stuff there from 100 Thieves. I think the idea is you do the initial engage, you force out the ult, you back off, then you re-engage for a kill. Instead, the never move catches Cody's son, and that is that. He's pulled into turret range, he gets burst down, and that is just a disaster of a play here from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they had all the control 30 seconds ago. Then this happens. Okay, so the sleep lands onto Ryu. Not ideal for Caps, but he's still chasing Levi down. He's forcing him away, back to base. And now, with this fairly low HP sOAZ. He still dances around the mid lane, and you can survive giving up a kill here because there are 3 members killing Ryu. The support is there, the jungler is coming. You just can't then also give up a kill in the bottom lane. Almost.
Yeah. So close to getting caps there. Not much.
He knew, he faded
here
it.
For Ryu.
But then the bot lane play, like everything just backfired within 30 seconds for this team.
So again, I think the idea here is good. It's you go for the initial engage, he presses his ultimate, you back off, and then you look for re-engage. But there's no reason for Cody Sun to even be hitting him if that's the case.
Yeah.
You want the aggro to be on aphromoo, then you back off, and you can potentially look for re-engage. Instead, completely botched. 2 kills now over to Bwipo. Bottom lane losing, and the MF is put way behind.
Make it rain and scorch, pulled aggro as Alistar left range, and it was just, slightly botched right there. He had turret aggro when the pull came back in, despite a mini wave being there, and, unfortunate stuff here. So 100 Thieves now roaming to the mid side. They've got 4 people around.
Knows. He's
Yeah,
sitting there waiting.
No one's hitting the turret, which is a little bit of a waste of resources, but at least they'll get a Raptor steal.
Get a tiny bit of damage onto it. They were hoping Caps did not realize they're there, because they actually had 2 control wards placed in the entrance of the Fnatic jungle, so they felt pretty safe and pretty secure that no one actually spotted them move in towards the mid lane. But I think Fnatic just called. They've all been gone for a while. They can only be really one place. Levi will face check.
Here comes Shen. It's going to be a really big fight. Ult comes in to force some disengagement. Levi's still going to fall. Fnatic now 5-3 in this one. Some great fights.
And this is something you can see very often with teams where there might not be a lot of synergy or communication coming down, because he walks in when Galio is not even close to being able to follow. There wasn't really any reason. Just wait for Galio to kill a wave, then he can go with you if you want to face check the enemy jungle after your team just left.
Yeah, and Hylissang is missing bottom lane. That's something that should be being called out and taken into consideration, because even if Galio had push, you can't take a potential 4v2. Shen can ult in, Tahm Kench can ult in. Where is the kind of win in that fight? And Levi gives up an easy kill here, and 100 Thieves, despite the good start, are getting very, very sloppy and kind of throwing away kills. And if you fall too far behind a composition like Fnatic, you don't have enough damage to actually burst anyone down. They start to just run you down and pick fights and take dives over and over and over. It can start to look pretty ugly.
Well, we'll see what else they can do, 100 Thieves, as Fnatic are taking control of this one, and it's a pretty standard composition for their concerns, for their standards. Caps is off to a great place. 110 CS on him. A top lane lead so far for sOAZ. He's also out of his wave at least once before already. And this is after Brandini was given first blood from the jungle. So superior laning for sOAZ, of course, expected based on his pedigree. Fnatic right now, though, taking care of business.
Level 9 here against a level 7 Misfortune. And Bwipo was actually behind this lane. He's still slightly down in terms of CS, and he was getting engaged on again and again. It looked like he was going to die at some point in just a pure 2v2 engage. And then he turns it around with that tower dive against him.
Yeah, or 100 Thieves turned it around.
They did.
It's one of those situations where, yes, they're building advantages, but they never got the payoff. And Bwipo and Hylissang stayed very safe. They never let that actual kill come through. Bwipo hit 6. Hylissang has been very effective on the roams. And Fnatic, I think, is just playing much more coordinated and looking a lot better across the map.
So Hylissang just stopped his recall, and he's on a ward. They might actually go for him and try and kill him when Caps is gone. Oh, never mind.
There was a small scuffle in the top lane, but again, still farm lead for sOAZ. He's feeling pretty good, level 10 in both these players. We're waiting for Brandini's move back into this game. Broxah grabs the red, still clearing his jungle, but he's equal in farm to Levi, and now sOAZ once again for the battle.
And it feels like now we're just kind of waiting for sOAZ ult to be ready again, and then they can go bot lane and just try and destroy Cody Sun. Bwipo and Hylissang are not going to be too scared of the damage. And with the Shen ult coming in to back them up, there should be a couple of kills plus a Drake. Meanwhile, Caps is just trying to go for this mid lane turret 1v1.
Well, it's going to be a taunt trade for the Spell Thief Exhaust, and it's going to be the bubble not quite landing on him, but now a fight on the bottom side is a Sejuani used on an aphromoo to get away.
Yeah, just a disengaging ultimate there. 100 Thieves were trying to roam up and make the play happen, but again, Bwipo on the bottom side, he's going to be pushing this out. It's Fnatic who has the pressure. They have the better roam potential here with the Shen Stand United is coming back up, and also Hylissang having his ultimate. They can move so effectively around the map.
Bot lane dive, pops the ult, and he's going to chase Cody Sun right out of this one. Still tags the slow. There's no way out. Ult Q comes in, solo kill under the turret.
Oh, not done yet.
All right, that's Flash now down. No ulti. This could be a decent re-engage. He's out of ways to get out through this kind of stuff. Quick redemption comes down, but it couldn't do the damage. Through the Shen, they still pick up that kill, so he's not joining in. This is a 3 versus 1, but now 2 more reinforcements come in thanks to Hylissang. Aphromoo ulti on, so taking a lot of damage. Ryu in the front line, looks for the knockup. Only going to find one person. It's the big tank. He's got to be careful. Runs out of health. A nice pickup there, and Afro is going to run out of HP. A nice headbutt, a nice pulverize, trying to buy some time. It won't matter. Catch gets that kill, and Levi being chased out of his own base past the river on the wrong side of the map, and Broxah is still on the chase.
Back in, he might
Cody sends TP's in to kill himself because there's going to be the chomp coming in. Hylissang pops the thick skin, and that's going to be a trade kill. No! Stopwatch is there. Levi still on the run, hit up though, and that will be a kill. A whitewash Fnatic kill almost everybody on the map.
It's a disaster for 100 Thieves. Cody's son starts and finishes the play, dying there. And that is just everything coming apart.
Yeah, completely getting outplayed in these fights here by Fnatic. And it all started with that kill on to Cody's son, and we get to see why some people do not like to play these AD carries against things like a fed Swain. Now, he fed the guy, by the way, in that last tower dive, and then this happens. He goes down, and while the answer's pretty decent to try and burst down the Swain before Shen comes in, because I also think the Ornn is ready to interrupt the Shen ult up in the top lane. They do get the first kill, and then I think Ryu is hoping that Fnatic gets under the turret when he actually goes in for the re-engage. You see here, Ryu is setting up for it, getting ready. He just takes a bunch of free damage, and yeah, okay, that was just bad.
I mean, they just didn't have any damage. There's no way to win, I think, from that point. And I think the call needed to be Levi and aphromoo. Like, pretty much everyone just runs away while one person sacrifices themselves to buy time, because Levi is on no health. He's their only DPS. You have 2 tanks to hold that turret, and they can essentially tank that turret up forever for Caps to get the setup, for him to get the kill. And you know, Caps, really the only squishy, vulnerable person on the team, has now grabbed an early Zhonya's, has the cleanse, and it becomes so hard to see how does 100 Thieves lock down and kill anyone with Cody's son, who is way behind, you know, building lethality against this really tanky team. That's going to be
got some
so
long
hard.
thoughts now, mate.
He does.
Yep, well, it's going to be another lethality ahead of them, I'm pretty sure, and scaling up. So far, not a ton of armor has been built. There's 0 on Shen, and 0 on this Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, but you know Zhonya's is one of Swain's favorite items, and before long that'll be available. Zoe's already got hers.
Yeah, and you can see, you know, Sejuani already starting to build up some armor with the Aegis and the Tabbies, and you know, sOAZ certainly will be itemizing towards armor eventually. It does start to get very, very difficult, I think.
Around mid.
Wow.
Oh, nothing. It is interesting, though, this game, unlike the one they played yesterday, where it was Brandini getting killed over and over. This is actually the normal members on 100 Thieves struggling, especially the bottom lane. Cody's on an aphromoo getting completely shot down, and also Ryu, while he did manage to get that 1v1 kill under his turret, he's lost the lane pretty hard against Caps' Zoe.
As we have the combo, look at that. Tahm Kench in your face means it doesn't matter what you do. Aphromoo chunks so incredibly low. Okay, this is the possible flank play. 100 Thieves needs something to go right, and it's not going to be this.
Yeah, and Bwipo is pushing top at the same time, you know, threatening to knock down this turret here. And while, yeah, there are some of the regular 100 Thieves members here not looking so strong, you can also see there has been some miscommunications with Levi. He has not worked very well with the squad. And just overall, it's 100 Thieves looking very, very uncoordinated, not playing well together. And Fnatic certainly have outplayed them across the map, and I think now have the tools that they need to cleanly close out this game. I mean, they're 5K up, they're threatening towers, and they're looking very good.
Cloud9 can lead like this. Brandini is going to be chomped up and goes down as more turrets fall. 3-0 in turret score, and another team fighting the bottom side. Levi and Ryu hoping to combine for something. Knockups coming in the bounce house, but is it going to even be enough? They're trying to burn him down, but Bwipo already picks up a kill in a 2 versus 3. The flash forward, another one picked up for sOAZ. Fnatic can do no wrong this game.
And they got Rift held top lane, full HP charging in for that turret. Someone needs to go back and defend as well, because right now, they're just losing everywhere.
I mean, the charge is going to hit the inhibitor tower. Mid lane is being pushed in. There's just not enough members out on the map right now for 100 Thieves to defend on all sides. They're losing in kills, they're losing in objectives, and 100 Thieves have very little going for them this game.
This game might just be a matter of time now. 18.5 minutes in, and Fnatic putting on an absolute clinic. Assuming this game ends the way it's supposed to, Europe will be ahead in the scoreline briefly.
Here it is, Brandini again being attacked from the top side. Hylissang has been everywhere this game, utilizing the Tahm Kench ultimate so incredibly well, responding defensively, finding proactive plays, and just looking great.
Straight down to the bottom lane as well with the TP from the Swain, and now even in a 2v3, it doesn't really matter because the MF can't deal damage when the Shen W is down, and sOAZ managed to get the last kill for himself after also killing Ryu before from Bwipo. And yeah, we're just seeing every single skirmish going in favor of Fnatic. Like mechanically, they are just a step above, it feels like in this game. And then with the Swain getting fed plus the Zoe, there's just so much damage against the squishy targets.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are really, really tanky. You know, it's not just about the armor, it's about the amount of health and durability they have kind of innately in their kit, with the parry zone from the Shen and all the bonus health and lifesteal coming out from this Swain, thick skin coming out from the Tahm Kench, and it doesn't feel like 100 Thieves just have enough damage in their composition with the items that they need to really knock anyone down.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot that can happen right here. I'm also feel like I haven't seen an Ornn at all this game so far from Brandini. He's not been able to find his way into fights pretty much ever right here, as bot lane tier 2 is under fire. It's running out of health pretty quickly, and that's going to be 100 Thieves forced to run away as another advantage. 4 deaths away from a perfect game. Fnatic have not given up anything this one.
And it just further confirms that Team Liquid really is the North American hope when it comes to Rift Rivals. Sadly for them, it's not the format of last year where it is just one team going into the final from each region. It is all the teams who need to play it. Based on what we've seen so far, there seems to be a difference where G2, Fnatic and Team Liquid are towards the top, and then there is a gap down to the remaining 3 teams.
Yeah, and I mean, this would put Europe up 1 match, 4-3 overall, and we have 2 matches remaining. It would be G2 versus TL, but even if TL wins that, that would just tie it up and would come down to 100 Thieves versus Splice.
That is the best scenario, though, for the excitement here.
Yep. And the 2 bottom performers of the split so far will be then battling for who gets sort of side selection, team selection in the finals. We'll get to that when it comes to it, because we're still talking about Fnatic versus 100 Thieves, though this one is almost assuredly going the way of Europe. And their style of play has worked very well. Caps has been an absolute delight this entire tournament, now 5-1 in the Zoe.
Yeah, and it's nice for Fnatic to be able to kind of showcase what a lot of their games look like in Europe. You know, earlier today they played against TL. It was, you know, their style of bottom lane against Doublelift on a marksman. It did not go well for them whatsoever. But here against 100 Thieves, they're showcasing what they believe to be the superior strategy, what they believe the game should look like when it is Swain versus a marksman in the bottom lane. And it really can look rough when it is performed very, very well, as Fnatic has done. And also when 100 Thieves have made some pretty serious mistakes.
Well, the wave's getting cleared back and forth, and I think it's just 100 Thieves hoping for that one really great team fight. The full 5-on-5 with a full channeled MF ult, and you get the Galio to land on top of it. Ornn blows his horn, and the Ram charges through. That can be health bars getting withered down. There is that hope for the miracle play down 8,500 gold. That is a possibility, just a very rare one.
Yeah, and there is a stopwatch, sadly for them, on Bwipo, so even if you do get the great MF ult, he might just be able to outlast out of it together with Caps as well, and they are kind of the 2 squishy targets you're hoping to kill during that engage with all your wombo combo, because as we mentioned earlier, this kind of drafts from the 100 Thieves is normally really good against traditional comps, where there is an AD carry who just can't do anything against so much backline dive, but against the Broxah comp, it gets a lot harder to use in fights.
It really does, and I think it is, you know, a bit of a dream to see Cody's son even getting a full channeled ult. There's so much crowd control. There's so many ways, you know, for the Fnatic lineup to get in there and disrupt him, whether it's a never move or it's Broxah with the ultimate or the knockup. It's sOAZ with the taunt. They just need one man to really disrupt that ultimate and take a lot of the punch out.
So there's some of the punches going away. As a minion will go to sleep, but
back to base.
It's going to be a quick nap for Cody's son as he recalls back. Actually faster to walk at this point. Misfortune is super high move speed, but oh well. Still gets the recall off, gets back to the fountain, and is going towards his delayed black cleaver.
It's coming soon. Just give him time.
Yeah, give him a couple thousand gold, which maybe Fnatic won't wait that long, as Baron is alive, but not taken just yet. Mid lane tier 2 under fire. It's the last of the turrets outside the base. And still yet to give up a neutral objective is Fnatic. Chunk on aphromoo as well, yet to buy magic resist.
And there's nothing worse in League of Legends than playing against a fed Zoe. It's like old school fed in Italy. No one enjoys it all. The Zoe player, because you just keep seeing this happening over and over.
Yeah, there's not really an answer when you are this behind. It's well, okay, you should hard engage, but if you can't win a hard engage fight, you're basically your base.
Damage.
Cody's
Redemption's got to dodge it. Swain W has to flash away from long-range skill shots. The fight has started with the turret already gone. Taunt to the front line. Ryu could be falling down. Ryu's got to find an ultimate sometime soon as the Ornn comes across. Here comes the attempt, but no one's in range to deal any damage. Bullet Time couldn't even find anybody, and it's going to be time running short now for 100 Thieves. The kills come through. Brandini's going to be dropping on this one, and Cody-san can only watch inside the fountain as the base will fall. Fnatic have complete control on this one.
I mean, the inhibitor wasn't even dead, and they're diving the fountain at that point. Bwipo did such a good job zoning Cody-san out of the fight. There's no chance he could ever get to those squishy targets in the backline, and Fnatic are going to close out a dominant game.
An absolutely dominant game. At least a kill comes through. Cody sends KDA up to 0.5, but still, the turret's running low, and actually with the reflux coming in, maybe, just maybe, 100 Thieves will stay alive. This game will go on a little bit longer.
Oh, staying alive for now here. Big kill for Cody-san to get a lot of gold. He's getting towards the Black Cleaver. That is the one way back in the game, but it should simply be impossible.
The Black Cleaver is a way back in the game.
That's the way back, trust me.
Okay. 900 gold bounty, by the way. That is a lot.
Yeah, and here it is one more time. Caps is just finding Cody-san time and time again.
Oh.
That poke means Cody-san is completely out of the fight and really just tracked Bwipo. You know Cody-san wants to set up for an ultimate. Bwipo procs phase rush and is just running towards him at all times. If he goes for the ultimate, he's going to get hit by the never move. He never has a good chance.
That's why he tries while he's really far away and he's not really hitting anyone other than sOAZ and a few hits on the Swain, and that's about it.
Damage.
So obviously nothing he can really do the moment he gets forced out of the fight. But because there's no super minions in here, or not even a minion wave at this point, Fnatic can't actually stay and finish the game.
Well, they could have very easily finished the game, but they dove past the inhibitor into the Nexus. And
a bit aggressive.
Caps killed himself with the fountain.
Maybe, I mean, hey, if you kill Cody-san there, higher chance you could finish the game.
Well,
Great.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Well, either way, Fnatic picking up the scraps. They gave up a kill. They got some gold over, so a Phage now done on Cody-san, but Oblivion Orb in there, Caps is the flat pen, Zhonya's completed for Bwipo, plus the Morellonomicon. This front line, this back line as well, is just ready to go.
Everything.
I mean, everything's ready to go.
All lines.
12,000 gold lead for Fnatic. They can walk this one in.
And the armor is coming in full effect now. You know, these guys are starting to pick up a lot of armor in that front line. So even that dream 5-man MF ult, there's 2 Zhonyas on the only people who have not stacked armor. The rest of the people do not care at all about your lethality. I mean, you could give Cody-san 3 extra items at this point, and I still think 100 Thieves would lose.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Fnatic will take this Baron, and then we'll go kill them. Maybe they can actually get here in time and force a fight.
Need to force on Baron. I think this is the best thing to get, is have a 6th member kind of dealing some damage for them, but Fnatic split up. There's no good bullet times here. Caps looking for this one. Not going to get the ult committed just yet.
sOAZ is just taking the bot lane turret right now. 100 Thieves, you just got to engage.
Go engage the 5v4. Brandini's got to sound the horn. They got to go for this right now. Press R. Do something, and 100 Thieves refuse to do anything at all.
And the supers are in the base. I mean, they're going to be on the Nexus very shortly. This is all Fnatic has to do, is just buy time, back off. sOAZ is on the inhibitor turret. 100 Thieves are going mid lane.
What are you doing?
Their Nexus is going to die to the supers.
They had a chance there.
Slowly walking back. A bit of a rough shot calling here as Cody-san will slowly deal auto attack damage to these minions as the recalls come through.
Now Baron.
And Fnatic, hey, easily outplay that one. They knew the win condition. Hey, we've got sOAZ flippers, we've got super minions on the top side. Let's just kite it back off the Baron, wait for the play, stay out of range. They did so, and a very clean execution. Fnatic get more of this game.
There is double TP. MF and Galio can actually still join the fight. This is going to be the last one for them.
When are they going to pull the
Backs
trigger,
off
though?
Again. You gotta go.
Minions
Time is
coming.
on Fnatic's side. Here comes the Ornn horn. Bullet time across and stunned because Ornn didn't block the shot. And that's not going to be enough damage. One kill's going to come through before too long. Levi getting low. There's one picked up as Broxah gets it. Here comes the cataclysmic jump in for Rio. A little bit of damage coming across as the thick skin comes in as the minions flood into the base. But the kills just are not happening for 100 Thieves. The health bars just stay healthy enough here for Fnatic. And even if they were to die, it might not matter. Finally, a shutdown comes through, but it's only one person left alive. And poor Brandini is going to fall. And into the base comes Hylissang to lick that Nexus. Fnatic going to win 22-6 in Europe, up 4-3.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves made that last fight a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Some low health bars there on Fnatic, but still, only one member goes down from Fnatic. They dominated this game.
Yeah.
100 Thieves threw away their advantages in the bot side, and after that failed dive onto Bwipo where he gets 2 free kills, it felt like the game was completely out of control, and it seemed all Fnatic all the time.
All Fnatic all the time. The reigning EU LCS champions, and they end their group stage, I believe, 2-1 overall, putting in a good effort for Europe. And Now we'll see what happens with the rest of the matches for this squad. Of course, they'll be playing tomorrow in the best of 5, 1 or 2 games. And
Very true.
of course, we'll see 2 more matches today to figure out who will win the group stage.
Yeah, the big one now is G2 versus Team Liquid. If Team Liquid wins, there's still a chance NA can actually win the group stages if 100 Thieves can take down Splice, which is very likely if you base it just on how teams have been performing so far. But if G2 takes down Team Liquid in the next game, then Europe will take it all.
Even if TL wins, that 100 Thieves has not been looking a lot better than Splice. I mean,
No, it's going to be a close game.
Has been having a rough performance, of course, but I mean, it's 100 Thieves 0-2. It's 100 Thieves, you know, this game looking completely outclassed. They did at least make it much more competitive, I think, in their first game against G2, you know, with the funnel, but they were behind there too.
And I want to cushion the 100 Thieves point a little bit. We had seen, for example, they traded away Meteos over, you know, just at the end of the weekend, had to announce the Rift Rivals lineup early. So this is a new squad coming together. They've had 0 stage games until Rift Rivals, so I can soften that a little bit, but still it is a weak performance.
And they very likely want to play with Onda, it seems.
Sure, yeah, that was, of course, their trade for Meteos. Anyway, we'll get into that maybe during the LCS Week 4, but for now, let's send it down to Avli for an interview with EU Spell Thief in the mid lane.
Thanks, guys. Caps, congratulations on that victory. Fnatic going 1-1 today. What did you think about your performance and the teams?
Well, we lost the 2-2, so I'm not too happy with it. Me and Bwipo, we ended up losing. I hope that we were able to win, but we weren't, so it's a sad day.
Okay, well, what about this? What about this game that you just won?
I'm happy we ended up winning against 100 Thieves. We definitely hoped for a 2-0, but we ended up losing to Team Liquid. They did some things, especially in draft, that we weren't really prepared for. So it ended up being like a bit of a banger. And yeah, I just hope that we can prepare for tomorrow, so that we are ready both in draft and in game, because we have a lot of things to prepare.
So was there anything that you learned about NA, maybe from either this game or the game that you had against Team Liquid, that you can use to your advantage tomorrow?
So there's definitely a lot of things we learned. I mean, I don't even know if we learned anything about Ecofox. We just learned that they do completely crazy things. When it comes to 100 Thieves, they just drafted really standard, at least from what we had expected. And Team Liquid had a bit of a different idea than we had thought that they would pick. And we just need to prepare for tomorrow, I think.
And now, with the lead that you've just built, it is now up to your EU brethren to maintain it. Do you trust them?
I have full faith in EU.
Full faith. Well, congratulations again on the win. And for more on the game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Full faith in his EU brethren to bring them to a win at the end of the group stage. And honestly, it's looking good as Fnatic just utterly destroyed 100 Thieves in that game to give EU the lead, moving through the midway point of the day.
100 Thieves started 3-0. And then
in kills.
In kills. And then after that 3-0, they were only able to get 3 more kills throughout the rest of the game. So Fnatic, after they found a couple of early advantages, they really didn't let go of the game.
Yeah, and a lot of that was Bwipo. He kind of stepped up huge this game, absolutely destroyed Afro and Cody's son in this 1v2 outplay where Cody just gets caught out, gets the root, and the instant pop. The pull into turret was huge as well.
Yeah, and the mistake that Cody made there is that he pressed the auto attack as he was getting pulled into turret range. But even if that doesn't happen, Bwipo with the ultimate, very hard to actually dive as the Swain, and he outplayed this in a huge way. And the bigger thing is after he got these 2 kills, he absolutely took over the lane.
Yeah, they ran away with that. And the other thing that wasn't shown in that replay was during that, there was a mid dive that was happening. Ryu had just died as well. Levi was forced out of the jungle. Instead of rotating up mid to try and help cover a potential dive or anything, they try and make their own. And Bwipo kind of just shuts that down.
Yeah, things ultimately fell apart fast for the side of 100 Thieves, and for Fnatic, it looked like a walk in the park from that point forward. The first few minutes may be a struggle, but once those kills fell over onto Bwipo, easy going.
Just proving how unviable AD carries. I mean, look at Cody's like, he's trying to play this marksman, and Bwipo's like, mages, die! And he just walks off happy as can be. And, when we looked at this replay, it was impressive how what turned into a solo kill ends up in a huge team fight bar.
Yeah, so I guess playing a marksman means you need to TP back into a losing situation after you die once. That's why Cody's son shows up at the tail end.
But even this is on.
Yeah, split decision. Like, Levi's trying to clear the wave so they can stay alive during the dive, and Afro and Ryu were trying to bait this.
Fighting outside turret range? What are you doing?
Yeah, it was definitely split signals. It gets even more split when the TP comes in now. The fight is actually over, and there's still a bunch of enemies there. You are level 8.
He's a marksman. He has to TP back in, Jet. That's why.
This is the question mark ping appropriate situation, you know? Like, I really don't understand what he was trying to set up here. Fnatic got 4 kills over, well, 5, because they killed the AD carry twice. And really at that point, unless 100 Thieves found themselves a big wombo combo team fight, they were, oh, is that 4.2k damage? Okay, Levi didn't quite have the impact that he wanted in this game.
No, and I mean, like, the funny thing is, when you look at this comp from 100 Thieves against the side of Fnatic, it's actually a pretty good comp where you have some people who can stack MR against an all magic damage team effectively. Like, there's a chance in this game that Galio stacks MR, Ornn stacks MR, they become unkillable, and then you just dive the enemy team. It doesn't matter when you fall 10k gold behind.
Right. Well, yeah, but that suggests then that if all of this is true, that 100 Thieves should have understood that from the outset of the game, that, hey, there becomes a point when possibly we scale with defensive items against a team that's indexed too heavily into one type of damage, and we can ultimately win the game. But that's where, Jad, I would maybe wonder about, you know, what the roster swap, you know, does in terms of playing into this idea that, like, well, we can't get to that phase because we're taking these disjointed fights and we're not actually communicating about what our win conditions are.
Yeah, I don't have a huge problem with the 100 Thieves team composition. And I think Fnatic played fairly similar things in Team Liquid and this game. In TL, they didn't end the game, and then a bunch of magic resists got built by Team Liquid, and their all magic damage team became a problem.
Right.
I thought it was very interesting what Cap said in the interview about Team Liquid doing different things in the draft. I'll have to look back at it because it was like Zoe mid, Nocturne jungle, GP top, and a Kai'Sa. That feels very standard TL to me. I'll have to see what they did in the bans. But it is very much the way Fnatic plays. Like, they're clearly not that worried about the late game cohesive team fight. We talked about it at the start of the tournament, how Fnatic is all about early and mid game snowballing. And that's what they were able to do this game, because very much 100 Thieves was positioned to take it into the late game, use Galio, Camille, and win those team fights with MR stacked tanks, but they just never got close to that point.
All right, I do want to take one look at predictions as we're about halfway through the day. We were giving Jat a lot of flack for hopping over to the EU side, but the remainder of his predictions have remained true outside of that first one. Mark also along for the ride as the EU teams have been picking up those
3 EU
victories.
teams in the middle, Mark.
Not a traitor.
Not a traitor. So yeah, Mark flew under the radar there.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I thought that NA was going to win these games. I mean, Fnatic looking real good, especially with this early scrappy style, with 100 Thieves not having their late game that they're kind of known for when they have the Meteos someday veteran kind of synergy thing that we're used to seeing here. That's out the window, so they're playing early game. They get smashed by Fnatic, and Echo Fox also swapping players around, getting smashed by Fnatic.
Now, while it would hurt my predictions, I'd be fine if G2 lost this game, because I want these groups to be decided by 100 Thieves and Spice, and I just think it would be really funny. Two of the worst teams from each representative region is battling it out to see who gets side selection in, or who gets choice in tomorrow's.
Which is crazy. Oh, go ahead.
Especially because you guys were just poo-pooing Splice all week. You were like trying to disown them.
And now they might be the most important piece of the puzzle. I mean, that game does not inspire confidence for any NA fans out there for that 5th and final game of the day. I don't want to forget that we do have Team Liquid and G2 coming up next. If G2 wins that, group stage is essentially decided with the victory there. And so we'll see if Team Liquid can even it up. But that Splice versus 100 Thieves matchup, I guess my question to you guys, to return it to a bit of seriousness, is what should 100 Thieves be looking to do? Because in the LCS summer split, they've been playing some funnel strategies most recently to success. They did try one yesterday with Levi, didn't work. Do they need to go back to funneling Cody?
Probably not, because then you're putting
what are you doing with
Levi on a support,
Can
right? Meteos is a supportive type jungle.
I heard Brahm's pretty good, though.
That's what I was about to ask. Can you undo the trade for a little bit and just get Someday and Meteos back in here? No, that's not an option. I don't know.
I actually think one of 100 Thieves' biggest strengths that isn't properly utilized right now is the fact that aphromoo is a smart and mechanically good player. If they put him on roaming supports like Bard, Pyke, Alistar, and they get him out of bot lane. Put Cody Sun on something that can just 1v2 and farm, and go more EU in terms of style, where you actually just group up with your now talented jungler. I say now, I mean Meteos was good, but Levi is a good jungler. You pair them up, and then you just camp mid or top, and they just work together, and they become this roaming gank squad. I think that would be your best opportunity, and I want to stop seeing them funnel Cody or play around Cody, because like I don't think that's the lane you need to find advantages.
Now, something's not working. Something's got to change. We'll see if it happens. We're stepping away. When we return, it's Team Liquid and G2 clashing in what is potentially, or what could potentially decide the group stage winner. Don't touch that browser.
The taunt, they get a lot of damage. Keep knocking him into the air, and Broxah trying to get away. The flash to follow Brandini. He's not going to pull aggro, still walks forward and caps. Oh, be careful. The rest of the tanks are there. Hylissang pops in the thick skin, and that is a nice kill picked up. Well played on that dive by Fnatic.
Is that?
Go, I cannot die. I swear I cannot die here. I'm coming.
No flash, Camille. The team fighting the bottom side. Levi and Ryu hoping to combine for something. Knockup's coming in the bounce house, but is it going to even be enough? They're trying to burn him down, but Bwipo already picks up a kill in a 2 versus 3. The flash forward, another one picked up for sOAZ. He's got to find an ultimate sometime soon as the Ornn comes across. Here comes the attempt, but no one's in range to deal any damage. Finally, a shutdown comes through, but it's only one person left alive, and poor Brandini is going to fall, and into the base comes Hylissang to lick that Nexus.